nice thing is that we are here 24/7, so the nurses are going to be able to let guests in. We do allow visitors at any time of day or night.
I like to visit.
Yeah, absolutely.
Anytime.
We encourage it. So
that's great.
Yeah. So anytime we can have visitors, we do have a pull-out couch as well. So
That's amazing.
it's
I got in
bed.
trouble for sleeping on the floor.
Oh no! You're more than welcome. This is what we're here for.
Because I was worried about my dad because his catheter, he was bleeding when
Yeah.
his catheter was changed, so I was concerned about him. And,
Yeah.
and they
just
told me
keeping an eye on
they
him.
told me you can't do that.
Really? That's odd.
And then I also slept in the car outside
Oh.
because I was worried about him.
Yeah.
And they're like, you
no.
can't do that.
No, this
You already
is
look
allowed.
homeless. Now you look homeless sleeping in a car.
That's what they said to you? That's
Yes,
crazy.
yes, yes.
That's crazy. Yeah, no, we encourage that. We encourage people to come in and visit with family. It really helps
that'd be
with
awesome.
moral support. I do want to show you we have an ensuite restroom. So we do.
He can't walk right now. So.
Yeah, so we do have bed baths for patients that are bed bound.
That's awesome.
But this is a facility that
He's been too depressed lately to accept a bath.
Yeah, so I mean, honestly, the aides are very encouraging about
That's
it.
awesome.
Most of the time, too, if the patient has taken wrong light switch, has taken some medication, it's a little bit easier to get them to want a bath just because it's warm water, you know, like just a little bit of soap, you know. It's
I also don't think the nurses at Morello House know hospice care.
Okay, yeah, so we do twice a week bed baths for the patients that are scheduled.
My dad used to shower every day, so
yeah,
I think he likes to be clean.
Yeah, he just.
But his dementia
maybe
symptoms have just started to get worse.
Yeah.
And I'm like he said he thought they were skipping his meals, him for meals,
Yeah.
and then one day I watched him eat dinner,
Yeah.
and then an hour later he said they didn't feed me. I'm like,
so maybe he has a big appetite.
Right.
So we do have a kitchen next door that does provide the food for us.
Awesome.
So we get 3 meals a day. Typically morning meals around 9:30, 10 o'clock. Lunch is at around 12:30 to 1.
Okay.
And then dinner is normally around 4:30 or 5 o'clock.
I thought I was going to interrupt lunch at 12, but
yeah, no, you're perfectly fine.
Awesome.
So normally it's a little bit later than that because next door is an assisted living facility as well. So they do their patients' meals, I'm assuming, first, and then they do ours directly after. We do get our portions family style, so the aides are able to accommodate different dietary restrictions when they plate it out. So we can puree food if needed. We can do, soft diets, so like mashed potatoes, protein powder and like some pudding and, things like that.
I keep encouraging my dad to eat, but he's too depressed to eat sometimes. Yeah. And I'm like, Dad, you're only going to feel strong later if you eat this meal.
Yeah. So sometimes too, it'll come and go with like nausea and things like that, where they just are refusing food. But we really try to control any symptoms first, and then that makes it a little easier to care for them and be able to.
Last night he said again, I think I'm going to die because his catheter pain was so much.
Wow.
And I don't think he asked for help, but he's frustrated because when he asks for help, they don't come for like for an hour.
We do have the call light system in place here, so it'll keep pinging us up front until somebody is in the room and able to help them out.
You answer calls within 10 minutes?
Oh yeah.
Or 5 minutes?
So normally I'll put the call light out immediately. We have a walkie-talkie system with the nurses and the aides.
It takes a village, right?
You're right, exactly. Typically it's under 5 minutes. Like I've never seen really anything go over that, and if it has, then it's just somebody that's waiting on an assist for a boost or something like that.
That's what I wish Morello House was like.
Yeah, but we are a little more intimate of a unit here since we only have 15 beds. So our nurses, typically have, anywhere, depending on our census, from like 2 to 5 patients, but it's split between aides as well. And we've got different level of care patients, so we make sure we sprinkle, the more difficult patients on the people with less patients for that day and things like that. So it really just kind of.
I assume this is more expensive, but my dad has some money. So
Medicaid will cover pretty much everything for you when he comes in.
That's awesome.
We'll start him off at the GIP level of care. So general inpatient is basically where symptoms are unmanaged. If he's still having pain from the catheter, when he gets here, that's something that we're going to tackle. Pretty early on, just to try and see what medications he's on. If there's something that we can maybe change to make that a little bit more comfortable, or even just taking off the catheter and doing briefs instead, whatever is more comfortable for him.
It was always my understanding that hospice patients shouldn't be in pain.
Right, that's the goal.
And my dad presses the button and they don't come for half an hour, and it breaks my heart to watch him from the chair, the visitor's chair,
and be in pain,
and just see him be in pain. I can't take it anymore.
Yeah, here is the space where we do try to make sure that comfort is the number one. So
that's awesome.
So that really is our main goal with care here, and our team is really good about being on top of medication time frames and things like that, just because it is more of that intimate unit. They also get that physician visit daily while they are still on that GIP level of care.
That's amazing.
Just because it is a priority. If they switch to routine, that is where a private pay would come into place just for room and board, but everything else is still going to be actually covered by insurance. So the room and board fee daily, I think, is $300 a day. And that covers, you know, the meals, the doctor's visits, and all the medication is still going to be under that insurance that he comes on with.
I'm hoping that my sister and her husband can figure out the finances to make it work.
Yeah, and routine level of care is only once those symptoms are managed, if they are able to either go to a different facility, or if you want to discharge home, like if he's really feeling well.
He's not going home anymore.
Yeah, so if he's coming here for our services and he's on that GIP level of care, then it'll remain as insurance.
He lived in Rochester. He worked at Oakland University.
Oh, so he's really close.
Yes.
Are you guys local to the area too a little bit?
I'm living in his apartment right now.
Oh, okay. So that's not too bad of a drive. Rochester's probably like 15.
This is a quicker
minutes.
drive than Royal Oak.
Okay, that's good. Yeah, so here it is nice that we are right off the expressway as well. So people coming from further out of town can have a little bit, quick accessibility.
Thank you, Google. That's how I found you.
Right, yeah. So I do have a pamphlet for you, but I'll show you some of the other amenities too, just while we are chit-chatting. I
don't want to send too long of a video to my sister, but
you can take pauses too if you want. So we've got a couple different living facilities. This is one of our respite patients.
Hello, everybody. I'm just going to share this video with my family.
You can follow me this way.
Appreciate it.
This is one of the visitor restrooms.
Okay.
They are going to be single stall. You're more than welcome to use the facility in the patient room as well. That's totally fine.
Of course.
And then this is our identical living space on this side. So it's just kind of so the families have a place to congregate. If patients are able to get into a geriatric chair like Mr. Judy over there, then typically they'll come out and hang out with us while we're kind of going about our day and charting and things like that.
Dad was pretty good about walking every day until his legs just gave out and he couldn't hold himself up
Is
anymore.
He open into getting into a chair? Is he not very social? Does he prefer to stay in his bed?
It's hard to lift him up.
Okay.
I scratch his back, but I can't really get him to sit up.
Yeah.
Beyond his bed.
Yeah, the nice thing is that with these types of chairs, they do recline as well. We can prop up his legs, so it is kind of more like laying down a little
I would love
bit.
to get him out of his room. He's not very social. He's kind of shy.
Yeah. We've had some people that are like not today, but then after a few times of asking, they'll kind of warm up to the idea of just coming.
I think if he felt safer here, he would be.
And if he is getting familiar with staff, we do typically like to give the same nurses to the same patients. So that's the nice thing too, is if he likes somebody, he can come on out and chit chat with us while we do our dailies.
And his short-term memory. I'm still learning about dementia.
Yeah.
I founded this brain aid for mental health awareness.
Yeah.
My mom drew this smiley face.
Aw.
It's based on Live Aid.
Okay.
So a concert.
Yeah.
And we did concerts in Athens, Georgia. But now I want it to be for mental health awareness and brain health awareness.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's really awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Of course.
Maybe I'll get you a shirt.
Yeah, I'm a big music advocate, so I'm here for it. I do want to show you our quiet room.
Okay.
So this is
Let's see if it's quiet.
This is a space that some of the family members just come in to chit chat. Obviously, your dad would be more than welcome in here as well if he is comfortable getting into one of those chairs.
Yes.
But some of our patients' family members that stay the night do like to shower here.
That's amazing.
So sometimes they'll like to prefer to use this facility in here rather than the one in the patient's room. It's just the same as the other ones. It just doesn't have the hazard.
I like your shoes.
Thank you. It just doesn't have the hazard bin, so it's a little bit more spacious. So we would just put a tag up on the door saying, room reserved for this amount of time.
That's amazing.
And then there's a padlock on the door too, so you don't have to worry about anyone.
I haven't been great at showering myself.
Well, no worries.
Because I've been depressed, but
we're happy to accommodate.
If I could do that here, all the better. Thank you.
Yeah, of course. We're really here for the support.
That's awesome.
We do have a musician that comes in on Mondays and plays for the patients.
My dad loves music.
Great, yeah, he's very talented.
He doesn't like vocals, but he likes.
Well, he can play guitar. That's he can do that slowly.
My dad is always like classical music and jazz music.
Okay, yeah, I've heard him do a good mix of songs,
Okay.
but normally he'll go based upon, you know, the patient's wishes, what they
That's
prefer.
amazing.
This is our dining space. A lot of our nurses will do their charting over here.
Okay.
Primarily, this will be a space where some of the patients will sometimes come out and enjoy breakfast,
Mm-hmm.
dinner, lunch, if they're open to getting into a geriatric chair.
Right.
But, you know, if they're not open to it during that time of day, then the staff will take in the food into the room for them and
That's
assist
amazing.
with, you know, dinner.
And you have rooms available now?
We do have some beds
Okay.
available.
Good.
As long as he fits the hospice evaluation,
Right.
then we would
Right.
go ahead and accept him via our doctor's permission, and then we would get going on paperwork, and then it can
Yeah.
be a very fast process if you want it to
I
be.
would love it to be.
So-
I would love him to live here next week,
Okay, yeah, honestly.
if possible.
Yeah.
There was some question a year ago about his eligibility because he didn't have like a cancer diagnosis.
Okay,
But
if
he has a spot on his brain,
Mm-hmm.
and he's 84.
Yeah, and if he's having some uncontrolled pain with the catheter and some bleeding and
Yeah,
things like that,
and I'm
then
pleasantly surprised that he's still alive,
yeah.
but he needs more support.
Yeah, and that's what we're here for, is the 24-hour
That's amazing.
care. So that's really our priority.
You seem very passionate.
I am actually.
about-
I've only been here a few months, but I
Oh,
love
wow,
it here.
wow.
Yeah, I've been here for about 3.5 months. So
Wow.
yeah, but I really do love the staff. I won't lie, that's my mom.
Oh, hi, Mom.
She's a great nurse. Her name's Miranda.
Nice,
She takes
nice.
great care of the patients. You know, we do have a few
That's
RNs
great.
daily, but they are on that 12-hour shift, so they get that consistent care
Right.
for those 12 hours, and then it switches to the night nurses,
Right.
and then, you know, consistent care for the next 12 hours.
Yeah, I don't think the nurses at Royal Oak House are as nice as yours are.
Yeah, I might be biased.
I
But
mean,
I would say
just-
they're pretty phenomenal.
The
too
other
here.
day, quick story, the nurse just put his tray on his table
Mhm.
forcefully, and his cake popped out of its little bowl.
Oh,
And I'm like, that's rude, because it landed on the tray.
oh, okay.
I'm like, why did you do that? And
Right.
not everybody is equal nice.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, and that's the priority.
I just want people to
with
be nice.
care.
I just want people to be nice to
You
him.
know, it's funny that that's the second time I've heard that this week. Is
Wow.
that, you know, care at other locations
Yeah.
sometimes are a little bit more
Right.
aggressive than ours.
I read an article a year ago, and I don't know if I have the link still, but it's about the nursing home industry
Mm-hmm.
and how the writer said she visited them, and she said she saw a lot of love, but she saw a lot of people that are overworked.
Yeah.
And when it's profit driven,
Mm-hmm.
it's all about the money.
Yeah. Yeah.
and I'm like, how about you make a little less money, but
Right.
help people
And
in
give
their
the
life?
care they deserve.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's
Absolutely.
the thing, is like, if we are, you know, that
That's what
last
frustrates
care
me. Yeah,
provider,
yeah.
then we want to make sure that it is the best care team that we're able to give.
Just treat people like you want to be treated.
Yeah,
The,
yeah.
the golden
It's the
rule.
golden rule,
The-
yeah.
The, golden rule. Yeah.
But that's pretty much most of the tour. Do you have any questions about any of the areas or about just the care in general?
Not really. He stays in his room pretty much.
Okay.
Watches TV, and then I visit him, and we talk, and we watch TV, and
Yeah.
I play him YouTube videos that he listens to.
Yeah.
But he's been depressed, and I think if he got better care, he would be less
He might
depressed.
be a little bit, more.
I mean, my goal is for him to be like Jimmy Carter,
Okay, yeah.
be on hospice for 20 years.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, that is a good goal.
It depresses my dad when I say you could live to 100.
We do
That-
have a 100-year-old patient right
That's
now.
that's 15 more years for my dad.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
but he doesn't like hearing that.
Yeah, that's fair. My
So-
my family always says, you know, it's an inside joke, but they always try to make it to 100, and my grandparents are still going at 85. So
My grandma made it to 91, and my other grandparents, my dad's parents, lived into their 70s, so
Oh, wow.
he's already outlived them.
Yeah.
What's your name again?
I'm Hope.
Hope.
And Steven, right?
Yes.
Okay, I was just making sure.
Stephen with a PH, but not a PhD.
Not a PhD.
That's my joke. You can tell that to other Stevens you know.
I will.
With
I
a,
will.
with a PH.
Yeah, I'll make sure that I ask the spelling though.
Okay.
We do have volunteers as well. I forgot to mention that do come in and play the piano.
That's amazing.
Yeah, so that's something extra.
Okay.
It's not specifically on a specific day, but it is typically based on.
Do you have
when
a
they're
business
available.
card?
I don't have a business card, but I do have one for the hospice house.
Okay,
I can
okay.
give to you. It'll include
I think that'll be the end of the video.
Yeah, it'll include our hospice one.
I'm taking a video for my family in Texas.
I do actually have these cards. I'm gonna give you a welcome
packet.
folder just
Appreciate
so that way you have
your daughter's great.
access information.
I agree.
She's pretty great too.
We're not biased.
But this is just some additional information
Right.
for you. There's some literature in here as well for people that are going through, you know, family that are in hospice.
Do you have all of this on the website?
I'm not sure if all of it is going to be on the website. These two for sure.
I could also take pictures of
yeah,
everything, but
this is just a little bit of like some helpful literature for
Yes,
you.
yes.
And then the packets. I think this one is, I'm not sure about this one, but you're more than welcome to take pictures and send it over, or I can even scan things and send them to your family in an email if that's something
Okay.
you really prefer. But just take a look through it, and then if there's things that you want me to send out.
Can you write your email down?
Yeah, absolutely.